Somewhere in this city, right now, someone is chasing you. Not with a gun, not with a knife, with something quieter and honestly, more dangerous. It's the buzz in your pocket, the tab you swore you'd close in 5 minutes, the version of you that starts 11 things and finishes none of them. You know that feeling. The day slips through your hands like water, and by midnight, you're staring at the ceiling asking yourself, where did it all go? Now imagine a different kind of person. A man who walks into a room full of chaos, gunfire, shattered glass, 40 enemies between him and the door, and doesn't flinch, doesn't check his phone, doesn't wonder what he's having for dinner. He has one job, and every cell in his body is aligned toward it. You already know who I'm talking about. The suit, the stare, the legend the underworld whispers about like a ghost story. Today, we're not here to talk about the gunfights. We're here to steal something far more valuable than any weapon in his arsenal, his mind. Because underneath the legend is a discipline so precise, so unshakable, that it turned an ordinary man into a myth. Stick with me for the next half hour, and I promise you'll walk away with 5 lessons that can turn your scattered, distracted life into something sharp, something focused, something dangerous, in the best possible way. Let's begin. Every legend needs an origin, and every origin needs a lie the world tells itself first. The story goes that he was simply built different. That focus like his is a gift, not a skill. That some people are just wired for discipline, while the rest of us are doomed to scroll, snack, and stall our way through life. That's comforting, isn't it? If it's a gift, you're off the hook. You can shrug and say, well, I wasn't born like that, and go back to refreshing your feed. But here's the uncomfortable truth this video is built on. Focus isn't a gift. It's a weapon you forge. Every single trait we associate with a man who can walk through hell without breaking stride was built, rep by rep, choice by choice, in moments nobody was watching. So consider this your training manual. 5 lessons, 5 weapons. By the end, the only thing standing between you and the version of yourself you keep almost becoming will be whether you actually pick these up and use them. No more talk. Let's step into the first room. Picture a ballroom, chandeliers throwing gold light across marble floors, 100 conversations overlapping into a wall of sound, glasses clinking, a string quartet playing something elegant in the corner, laughter rising and falling like waves. And in the middle of all of it stands a man in a perfectly tailored suit, scanning the room, not for the open bar, not for a familiar face to catch up with, but for a single door, a single exit, a single target moving through the crowd like a shark cutting through swimmers who have no idea what's about to happen. To everyone else in that ballroom, the night is a swirl of sound and color. To him, it's silence. The music fades into background static. The laughter becomes meaningless white noise. His entire world has narrowed down to one corridor of attention, and everything outside that corridor simply ceases to exist. This is the first weapon, the ability to make noise disappear. Here's what most people get wrong about focus. They think it means trying harder to pay attention, gritting your teeth, staring at your laptop screen, willing yourself not to think about your phone sitting 3 feet away, screen down, buzzing like a trapped wasp. That's not focus. That's a war of attrition you're going to lose because your brain wasn't built to resist 100 tiny interruptions through sheer willpower. It was built to notice movement, sound, novelty, anything that might be a threat or an opportunity. Every notification is a tiny predator alarm going off in your skull, and your ancient brain doesn't know the difference between tiger in the grass and someone liked your post. The man in that ballroom doesn't win by resisting the noise. He wins because he removed himself from any situation where the noise could reach him in the first place. He chose the room. He chose the entrance. He chose days in advance exactly what mattered and what didn't, so that by the time he's standing under those chandeliers, there's no decision left to make. The distraction was eliminated before it ever had a chance to whisper in his ear. That's the real lesson. You don't beat distraction with willpower. You beat it with architecture. Let's make this real. Right now, somewhere in your house, there's a room, a chair, a desk, a space where you've tried and failed a dozen times to sit down and actually work. And every time within 4 minutes, your hand drifts toward your phone like it has a mind of its own. That's not a discipline problem. That's a design problem. So redesign it. Start absurdly small. Tonight, before you go to bed, put your phone in a drawer in a different room. Not on silent, not face down on the desk next to you. Out of the room entirely. Notice what happens tomorrow when you sit down to do the thing you've been putting off. The itch will still be there for the first few minutes. That's normal. That's just your brain checking if the tiger is real. Let it check. It'll get bored and go back to work because there's nothing to chase. Next, give yourself a target the way our man in the ballroom has a target. Before you sit down, write one sentence. For the next 25 minutes, I am doing this and nothing else. Not, I'll try to focus on my project. That's vague, and vague goals lose every time to specific temptations. I'm writing the second paragraph of my report. Beats, I'll try to be productive in a fight every single time. And here's the part people skip. Design your environment, not just your intentions. Close every browser tab except the one you need. If your work doesn't require the internet, turn the Wi-Fi off entirely. Not because you don't trust yourself, but because trusting yourself less and designing more is exactly what separates people who finish things from people who mean to.